Hey everyone, I hope you're enjoying your weekend. We're going to talk about triangles here. We're going to start a new unit on triangles. So here is some stuff about triangles. We have two kind of big ideas for the day. First one is that when you're looking at a triangle, the interior angles add up to 180 degrees. We can use that to find out a little bit of missing information. Because if you only have two of the angles in a triangle, this gives you the ability to find that third one. If you look at this example here, you have 85 and you have 50 degrees. And we have a question mark. Well, we know about this. We can set up a little equation to help ourselves solve this, knowing that every angle adds up to 180 degrees instead of using the question mark. I'll use x because, it's an equation. And then we just have to, combine first or subtract each of these off individually. I'll subtract 50 from both sides. And then subtract 85 from both sides. And it looks like we are left with x equals 45 degrees, telling us that this missing angle is 45 degrees. So this is a pretty basic application of what we call Triangle Sum Theorem, that the three angles add up to 180 degrees. But we have a couple more complicated ones as well. Check this one out. So this one has, instead of any really known angles, we have expressions instead. Well, technically we know that this corner one here is a 90-degree angle. It's a right angle. We're going to set it up exactly the same way. I think you should pause the video here, and if you're watching on Edpuzzle, I'm going to pause it for you and ask what you think the value of x is here. Set up an equation and solve that thing. And hopefully, your setup looks like this here. Looking at this right now, actually it looks like x is going to be a negative number because all of our regular numbers are going to add up to something here that's more than 180. If we do all the combining of like terms, it looks like we're getting 2x plus 190. Strange as that is, we're going to get some negative numbers for x, and really that's okay. It doesn't mean any of the angles are negative. That would be a no-go. But it's actually okay for the variable itself to be a negative number. We find that 2x is negative 10, and x equals negative 5 as a result, because you can divide both sides by 2. And one more question on this topic. And I want to use this example here to introduce kind of a bigger strategy overall, which is that sometimes you have to start out a problem kind of maybe air quote far away from your question mark. Because if we're just going to go for this question mark immediately, I don't see, we don't have a lot of information nearby it, and so we're going to have to do a little bit of exploring first. Big strategy I would like everybody to think about using all the time is just fill in any information you know. If you know, for example, you see some vertical angles, fill in the vertical angles. Again, I'm going to ask at this point, but now that we see that, okay, we're filling some stuff in on the left side of this diagram. But we need to get over to the question mark. Again, I'm going to pause the video here, or in Edpuzzle it'll pause for you. And I'd like you to try to find out the question mark angle's value. And now let's try to find it. Now we know this left-hand triangle, if you see 75 and 45, we take those away from 180, then the other angle is going to be 60 degrees. And then right here, this isn't a linear pair, this is like a linear trio. We know the three of these angles are combining to make a line, they're combining to make 180 degrees. 60 and 79 together are 139, that leaves 41 degrees. As this angle right there. Again, if you didn't see that, the whole point is that 60 plus 79 plus something is equal to 180. And so you can just do a little bit of backwards arithmetic in your head, subtract away 60 and 79, subtract those from 180, and you'll get that blank. It's 41. And we're nearly done because we're sort of like moving to the right. And that's progress. If you're moving your known information closer to your goal, then of course that's a good thing. 41 and 68 together are 109, meaning the last angle is 71 degrees, because again, it has to add up to 180. I'm just doing some mental math for that one. I'm hoping that, after a whole unit of doing this, you all can do the same. And then it's a linear pair with that question mark angle. 71 plus question mark equals 180. Question mark has to be 109. And that's the answer to the problem. And that is the first taste of what you can do with the triangle sum theorem. We have another idea, though. The next idea is called the exterior angle theorem. This is sort of a shortcut. Technically, every single problem you can do with this new theorem could be done with triangle sum theorem as well. But there's a bit of a shortcut. What it says is that an exterior angle, that is one that's on the outside of a triangle, you can see that in the question mark here in the problem below. An exterior angle of a triangle is equal to the sum of the opposite two angles. In other words, here, the question mark angle is equal to 25 plus 80 degrees. You might wonder what we mean by opposite, right? Opposite just means that it's not the angle that's directly next to that exterior. The opposite ones are essentially the other two angles. Here it's 25 and 80. That tells us the question mark angle is 105 degrees. For a final problem is another one where I'm going to pause the video if you're watching on Edpuzzle. This time it has some expressions. I'm going to pause the Edpuzzle and give you the opportunity to figure this one out on your own. The setup will look like this. We're going to say 30 because that's one of our known opposite angles. 30 plus 10x minus 10 is equal to the exterior angle, 12x minus 4. I'm going to clean up the left side by combining 30 minus 10, makes 20. Subtract 10x from both sides. Add 4 to both sides. Remember, we have to do some zero pairs, because the zero pairs, such as 10x and negative 10x, those cancel out. Negative 4 cancels positive 4. And if 24 is equal to 2x, then 1x is equal to 12. And that is the value of x. There's your intro to triangles. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. I will see you on Tuesday or Thursday.